good, y'all? It's your boy K High, and I'm sitting here with the legendary Mike Dean. Mike, what's going on?
What's up? How you doing, man? Good to meet you.
Likewise. How about yourself? How you feeling? What you been up to?
Yeah, chilling. Let me switch the angle here. Hang on.
Word.
There we go.
Cool. Can we get this might be a weird ask, but can we get a little peek of the studio? I think it'd be cool to get your sanctuary in there.
I mean,
Yeah.
a few keyboards here and there.
Yeah. Crazy. Do you use all of those, or do you kind of just dig up what you need to use for whatever vision you may be trying to bring to life?
I mean, yeah, they all have their function, you know.
I got you.
Yeah, definitely.
Word. So let's get into what you've been up to more recently. Your visuals of your live show at ECHOPLEX are available now exclusively on Apple Music. Just went up today. How would you describe the energy of being back out there in front of the fans and this time on your own type?
I mean, it's great. It's like finally getting some recognition, you know, for the synth work I do on all the albums I do, you know, and you know, people actually sold out 2 nights, which is really big, you know.
It's beastie.
Even if it's a small venue, it's, you know, it's a big step in, you know, making the progress towards being a solo, you know, instrumental artist, you know.
Yeah, I got you. How would you say the quarantine, well, we're kind of post-pandemic, depending on if you feel safe out here or not, but how would you say the quarantine affected your creativity?
Definitely helped it a little bit, I think. You know, it's like gave me more time to focus on my own music, you know. I dropped 3 albums during quarantine so far, so, you know.
Yeah.
This says something right there that, you know, probably just that I've been working more too, though, you know, because I haven't been going anywhere. Just been kind of locked in the studio, you know.
Okay, I got you. Locked in the studio at home or different places? Obviously, the Donda thing was its own, but
yeah, different places, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, some in Texas, some in California, you know. You know, not much going out into public until, you know, recently.
Okay, yeah. I got you. What made you want to start pushing out solo projects? Like, what makes now the right time over these last couple of years?
Well, I started doing these live streams like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And got good, you know, people embraced those. People liked those a lot. And after I did about 10 of them, I was like, I've been recording them all, you know, multi-track. And I just started digging through the live streams and made my first album. Yeah. Did the same for the second album. And the third one was even easier because I just got to do it in one night, you know. It's like, you know, the live album is great. It's like, hardest part was editing the video, you know.
I could imagine. What was the process like for even putting that together? When you did the live album, was that improv? Was that something that you came into there with like a blueprint or something like that?
No blueprint. I mean, the only blueprint I had like 4 songs from each of my prior albums. You know, I'd find a couple of stems from those and play those and then improv over the top of those. So it's kind of like a live version of the songs, but kind of like a new thing, you know.
Yeah.
Probably like 30, 40 minutes of the performance was old, you know, songs from my first 2 albums, and then the rest was just top of the head, you know, improv.
Okay. I got you. The fact that you made 420 like mostly from Instagram sessions is absolutely insane. And that brings me to my next question. What was the biggest difference in 420 and 422 in terms of the creative process?
422, we went a little more like my guy Tommy Rush and Louise Donegan, you know, and actually Sean Solomar and Sage Schofield, my whole like internal crew. We all worked on the second live stream a lot more. The first one was just me and Louise, you know, with a phone on Instagram, and all the audio was going over the phone. And for the second one, you know, we set up, you know, live stream with, you know, wave audio. You know, we set up lights. We had the whole DMX controller.
Yeah.
You know, flashing lights on beat, and just a little more heavy on the production side.
Yeah. For sure. I was watching it. It seemed like
It's pretty cool.
yeah, it seemed like a whole experience. I mean, especially live, I could only imagine the energy and the vibe of it all. Creatively, excuse me. How did you put together like the lights and the effects that you were going to use to emphasize the music?
For the concert,
Yeah,
for the actual show.
yeah.
John McGuire, you familiar with him?
No, I'm not. But put me
Uh,
on.
him and his partner Eric, they have Trash House. They're the ones who made everything from Kanye's Glow in the Dark tour to the floating stage of Pablo,
Mm,
Travis's roller coaster. Like, just
fire.
they made every dope show you've seen probably. I ran into them at the first Donda listening party and said, "Hey, I got a show in like 2 weeks. You guys want to help put it together?" And just the rest is kind of history.
Yeah. Wow.
Brought in Jonathan Jossel. He directed the video. The director of photography, and made it look really great.
Um,
It's really cool. You can really tell how loud it was by the way the cameras vibrate. That's
yeah.
all. That's all natural effects. It's like we didn't do any effects to make vibrations. It was just the bass was shaking the cameras and making it distort and making cool looks.
Wow. That's insane. That's what I was saying. Like just from watching on the phone or on the computer, you can just tell the entire ambiance was crazy. But that's interesting to hear you talk about the cameras literally
Yeah.
shaking.
I mean, the design of the lights, the circles. My girl Louise Donegan, she's heavy into moon stuff, and
Yeah.
that's where the 422 album cover she gave Shepard Fairey the reference of the circles of the moon chart. And that's what the other lights behind me at the show were based off of that too.
Amazing.
But Jonathan, they went overboard, Trash House. Like we did like a full fucking festival type production in a small venue.
Yeah. I feel it. Is that something that you're going to be open to doing more of, like in the future? Like
Yeah,
ever even do a Mike Dean festival?
that's the idea. Build it and build it. My goal is to play in like Central Park or somewhere with 500,000 people watching and
All right.
fireworks, lasers, the whole fucking crazy shit. To like meditative synth music.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. Speaking of which, like, so in your sound in general and your projects, there's always like a heavy use of synths. You call yourself Synth God. Even on your latest project, 422, tracks like Obey, Journey North, some of my favorites, just really emphasize that idea. What made that instrument your go-to? When did you fall in love with it?
When I was a kid, really, like when I got my first synthesizer when I was like 15,
Gotcha.
like a string thing that made string sounds and just gravitated towards, being able to create something out of transistors and tubes and shit.
Mm,
Interesting.
yeah, for sure. How would you describe your sound, if you could even put it into words?
That's a hard one. Trippy for sure. You
Yeah,
know,
co-sign that.
I mean, the last show, I definitely took a little bit of shrooms. The second night that we filmed,
Word.
definitely was in the zone like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I could imagine.
You know.
Leave it at that.
And all those lights and then a little bit of shrooms. It's just like it's like almost like a out of body experience.
Yeah, I bet. I'm like, I've heard stories and I'm interested to know of how you even stay focused because can that get overwhelming at some point? Just all your senses like heightened?
Yeah, definitely. Even when you're not tripping, it can.
Yeah,
Like playing shows with Travis and Kanye, the lights they do is like sometimes it gets overwhelming.
yeah.
Like Travis and Coachella last time we played, they set off some pyro that put smoke up and it was so thick I couldn't see. But I had to keep holding the keyboard on the fucking note. Couldn't breathe. I was just sitting there like it's just fucking overwhelming.
Yeah. That's crazy. Now, salute to you for getting through that, though. I guess it's part of the game. You've worked on every Ye album. Obviously, a crazy catalog he has in terms of rap music, and you just being there for his journey on top of so many others. What made, excuse me, this Donda experience different for you personally?
I mean, it was kind of really similar to all the albums, just a little more intense, a little more over the top. The working in the stadium was pretty wild. Like we thought we were just there for a listening party. We ended up staying there and working for like a month, I believe, in a row,
Wow.
which was pretty cool. He had the live streams going. He broke a lot of new ground. With this rollout. It was the craziest rollout in history, I think.
Yeah. Insane.
Definitely.
Wait, so correct me on this. You got the call and you didn't know that you were going to stay there and work on it. You just thought it was going to be like a one and done type of event?
Yeah, I thought we were gonna come work on it, for a week or two and then
Gotcha.
turn it in. But after the first listening, he wanted to keep, polishing the album, make it perfect, make it what he wanted it to be.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about that as well. Like sorry, did I cut you off?
No, it's okay.
Word. So we know that Kanye had his own room in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So for example, like yourself, did you have a room there as well, or were you kind of just around in Atlanta pulling up to critique things?
No, I had a room. I had a room set up as a mix room, I took some of my gear in, set up my own speakers, got the mood right in the room,
Yeah.
It's definitely a
I'm
challenge to mix in a locker room, We've
could
done that before though, we've mixed some of your favorite songs in locker rooms on tour, on Uses and Pablo, you know what I mean?
Wow.
You know.
That's interesting. And that brings me to another thought. Do you have any like studio essentials, like things that you have to have? I mean, that's obviously commendable that you can kind of just cook it up wherever, but is there anything that has to be in like the suitcase if there was one?
I mean, Tannoy speakers, NS10 speakers, just I like old school. All my speakers are from like the early '90s. Prefer mixing on old speakers. It's with all analog, with no digital crossovers, no DSP at all. Just where you get a true sound.
Yeah. Wow, that's super interesting because obviously on the technology side, I mean, down to you having your own things, you've seen the evolution fully of just like musical instruments. That's interesting to hear you say that you prefer like the older stuff.
Same with synths too.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I do use some newer Moogs, but they're still just based off the old shit. Still all full analog and you know no digital stuff in them.
Amazing. Amazing. Can you describe your process with working with Kanye West? Like, what is that back and forth like when you guys are cooking up these legendary and classic projects that most people refer to as?
I can't really get into much detail on that stuff. I mean,
I got you.
it's kind of like ancient secrets. Like you
Yeah.
just don't tell. You just don't tell how magic gets made. You know what I mean? You don't want to tell people how you make the lady disappear. You just want
Yeah.
to make it happen.
Nah, I got you. That makes sense. Makes sense. We're gonna keep rocking. Don't worry about it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
For sure. You sent out a series of tweets while you were working on Donda. Used the word toxic. People made their own thing about it. Sites were running with headlines and things like that. What was going through your mind?
I mean, it was just getting overwhelming with fans fucking with me about it. I
Yeah.
was just like, toxic was just the whole situation with people fucking with me about it.
Mm.
I thought, like fans were getting toxic. They were getting pushy. Where's the album? You know, it's not up to me when an album comes out. It's up to the artist. You know, when
Yeah.
they feel like it's done. You know, you can't tell Kanye West or Travis Scott or anybody that your project's done. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm good at doing that, but you know, they want to work till they know that they feel it's right. You know.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. And I mean, you can tell me how you feel about it, but I feel like over the years I've watched your social presence get bigger and bigger. You know, it's like essentially you getting more respect put on your name, and rightfully so. Obviously, you're a legend, but I could see that being annoying on the other side of people just bombarding your missions with stuff about other people. So that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Like I can tell them what to do. It's like no, you can't. You know,
Yeah, literally.
especially type A personality people that like the ones that I work with. You know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Another thing I want to get into, what actually happened when Kanye West called you mid listening session in Atlanta? Can you walk me through that?
Nah, I can't really talk about that stuff. Really,
Okay. Okay.
too much detail.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
just
fine.
what you heard. You know. You know.
You said what? I didn't hear you. My bad.
Just just what you read on the line already. You know, same shit.
Yeah, I
You know,
got
what I
you.
mean? Yeah, definitely.
Straight like that. I want to get into your catalog a little bit, but from
Yeah.
your perspective, um, you've worked on so many projects, so many classics. What are some that would you say you're most proud of working on?
In the early Scarface records and Ghetto Boys records, you know, the Untouchable, like Scarface was definitely one of the best records ever that I ever worked on. I also learned, you know, a ton from Scarface. You mentioned mentors earlier, like
Yeah.
Scarface and like Vito One, you know, from he produced the old Ghetto Boy stuff. He
Or
took me under his wing, taught me about producing, taught me about like how to deal with artists, how to finish records, you know, how to be a producer, not just a beat maker, basically, you know,
okay.
which is a big thing.
Yeah. Is there anything like specific that you remember him telling you that kind of helped you steer your career in the right direction?
Basically, nothing specific, but just taught me patience and how to deal with artists, how to talk to artists,
For sure.
kind of being kind of zen, a little
Yeah.
bit Buddha,
Okay.
like Rick Rubin's a good example of that. Be calm, don't let the artist trigger you, don't let them push your buttons.
For sure. That's a good point too. Like, how do you stay patient through it all?
Takes a
In that,
lot.
you said what?
Takes a lot sometimes,
Oh, I could imagine. That's why I asked.
But yeah, it's it is what it is. It's always a challenge dealing with strong personalities.
For sure. For sure. What advice would you give to young producers who don't just want to make a hit, but they want to build an entire legacy?
Just have patience. Take your time. It's something that all my producers under me, Apex Martin, Sean, Sage,
Yeah.
Tommy, they're all learning that a slow climb is a lot better than a fast climb.
Mm.
Fast climb usually has a fast decline.
Yeah.
I feel like
Real words.
you know the slow burn is the slow. It keeps burning.
Mm.
Doesn't run out of fuel.
Yeah. Impactful words, especially in a climate where things move so fast nowadays. I feel like someone would probably need to hear that because I'm sure there's
Like
like,
somebody pops out with a producer tag and gets famous, and then they can't really produce.
mm,
Nobody is specific. I'm just saying.
yeah, yeah,
You
things move
know,
super fast. Even
you,
artists have come out at certain points talking about that, like how things just got too lit too fast, essentially.
yeah. And then what do you do? Like the person who gets the number one hit on their first album, and then you're like, you're kind of cursed to top that.
Hmm.
Which you'll never do.
Yeah, real words. I hear you.
You know, like Travis didn't have a number one for maybe 3 albums, you know,
Mm,
but you know, but he's got, you know, staple hits, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Just he didn't just, you know,
facts.
stick up there, you know, he grew, which is important to me.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I grew up on Travis. I feel like since I was a teenager, I've essentially seen his whole rise. And that was one of my questions for you as well. Like, what's your favorite Travis project or best? Either way you want to answer it.
I mean, kind of all of them, you know, it's like,
All fire.
yeah, they're all fire. I mean, Rodeo Special because it was our first one to work on, you know.
Mm,
And then I guess Astroworld Special just because it was so fucking big, you know.
yeah.
You know, it's great going and playing festivals with him, you know, playing to 100,000 people where we started out playing to like 30 people, you know. It's nice to, makes you proud to see the rise of, you know, someone that you've helped to, you know, climb the charts.
For sure. So on the note of Kanye West, Travis, you've also worked with Frank Ocean, Beyonce, The Weeknd. Um, do you ever get tired of being billed as a like certain artist collaborator as opposed to just yourself? I think I saw something a while back where somebody said like Kanye West is producer, and you kind of were like, "Yo, I think I've done enough in my career to this point."
Yeah, I don't want to be somebody's producer. That's one reason I do the solo albums and solo shows, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to be somebody's something, you know.
yeah,
You want to
nah,
be your own person.
that's
Yeah.
real. What are
Yeah,
some
I
of the
mean, you don't see Rick Rubin. Oh, go ahead.
Nah, you got it. You saying something about Rick Rubin?
I say you don't see Rick Rubin and it says Red Hot Chili Peppers producer Rick Rubin. It says Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
You don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I got you. Well, it's interesting to me, at least the younger people. I work in social media as well, and it does seem like I don't know, you tell me, but it seems like you're getting bigger as a character. Like people are isolating you. If you search your name on Twitter right now, there are memes and standalone tweets just about you. Have you recognized that at all? Like the increase?
Yeah, I mean, the memes are going crazy right now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We do a search now to see what comes up.
Or jokes. You know how that goes. But a lot of
Oh
respect.
yeah,
Too.
memes are great. You know.
Yeah. Is there
Sorry,
any
you got me looking at memes now.
I'm surprised you haven't done that before. Like, how often do you pay attention to feedback?
I mean, you know, I read the timeline every day. You know, to see what's going on.
Okay.
You know, definitely. People send me memes all day too. You know,
Yeah, I could imagine.
definitely.
Do people send you music a lot? Like, I don't even know if your email is something that's easily accessible, but do you ever have people just flooding your inbox with beats or trying to get put on, whatever it may be?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, we
How?
have an email just for that too. You know,
Oh, cool.
oh, every 5 minutes there's something coming in. You know,
Sheesh. Every day.
constant barrage of people sending. Yeah,
Insane. How
that's the
often do you
one.
go through that stuff?
What's that?
I said, how often do you go through that stuff? If you even have time. I mean, that also takes a whole lot of time.
I mean, I have a couple of people that look at stuff, as well as me.
Okay.
You know, what I mean,
What are some beats in your catalog that you're the most proud of?
probably like "Smile" by Scarface,
Fire,
like "Good Drink," 2 Chains. You
fire,
know, lots of stuff. You know what I mean? Tons of so much music. All the Beyonce records I'm real proud of. You know,
insane. Of course.
yeah.
How did you link up with somebody like The Weeknd, who was obviously this pop megastar 10 years ago? He was this mysterious character that was, associated with Drake. How did you link up with him, and what do you think about his evolution?
I mean, I have actually through my friend Head.
Okay.
He used to um, he works with me on music a lot. Like kind of helps me connect with people, and um, he knew Cash and Sal, who were his managers
Okay.
back in the day, and like I've been in touch with Weeknd since his first mixtape dropped.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mixtape all time. That shit is cold.
for sure.
That's amazing. So another thing, you tell me if you want to speak on it. If not, it's obviously fine. But Travis Scott is gearing up for the release of Utopia. You guys are obviously locked in for every project. Is there anything you can
Yeah,
share about that? What can people expect?
not yet. It's just it's in the cooking. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, he posts a little bit about it. It's just follow his posts and you'll learn. Once I start posting, it's about to be lit.
I heard you.
Yeah.
Okay. And similar to my question I asked you about the weekend, what would you say about Travis Scott's evolution? From like you said, it's so interesting that he didn't even have a number one album to now it's kind of like expected of him. What would you say about that evolution and being a part of that?
I mean, it's something to be real proud of. I mean, to watch him grow from being a producer, that used to send me beats to becoming one of the top artists in the world. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What makes something like La Flame special? Like what did you see in him when he was younger or even when he was older?
Just hunger, what I mean? Hunger and determination to be the best at what he does.
Mm,
He does a lot more in the studio than anybody ever gives him recognition for.
mm. What do you mean by that? In terms of like ideas, like beats? What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean everything, like from choosing the beats to, you know, writing the lyrics to, just everything. He's really good at, all around producing, being an artist,
Yeah,
overseeing an album,
for sure.
definitely.
I got you. Are you gonna be at Astro World Fest? You performing?
I don't know yet. We hadn't talked about it. I'm sure I will. I'm sure
Yeah,
I'll perform with Travis. I'm trying to get a set. I want a set of my own too.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would go crazy. I'm pulling up, so I definitely would want to see that.
I'll probably definitely start doing some Rolling Louds. I think. Been
Yeah.
talking to Tariq and the guys over there about that.
Okay, that's fire. What other artists have you been listening to or music lately? It don't matter if it's old school, new school. What's been in your headphones and in your speakers?
Not much lately. Just what I've been working on. I've been working on Christine and the Queens pretty heavy,
Okay.
and we're like 18 songs in on her album. I'm
Shit.
co-producing the whole thing with her. It's gonna be fucking something special.
How did
She's
you get?
actually she's on the live album.
Yeah.
She came up on stage both nights and just did a little freestyle with me. That turned into being part of the live stream.
Amazing.
Not live stream, but part of the live album.
I got you. How did y'all link up? Like, what was like the first couple interactions you guys had?
Chris, it was an Instagram meetup.
Cool.
My girlfriend Louise Donegan, she's a big fan of Chris's, and just she's always used to work with Christine the Queen. She's always playing her music around me, and I gravitated towards it and just reached out to her on Instagram, and we linked up. No managers, no label, just straight. Became really good friends. Working on this epic album.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
working on that, and Don Tolliver real heavy. Before and after Donda.
for sure. A lot of people looking forward to that Don Tolliver, man. He's another very, very talented person. I can't wait to see what he does in the game.
He's another slow burner to me. You know what I mean? He's he's got that slow rise. It's gonna last, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I could imagine.
You know, I mean, he's really something.
For sure. What was the first time you met Don? Was it through Trav, or did you guys kind of link on your own?
Through Travis,
Yeah.
definitely. Met him basically on tour. You know, when I pop up to shows, I'd see him at the tour. You know.
Okay. Straight like that. The whole Cactus Jack imprint. I don't know. They have a crazy roster of talent. I think everybody is excited for what they're gonna do. Between obviously Travis, Don, even down to Sofago, who's buzzing really, really heavy right now. Definitely exciting. So
Definitely.
word
A
up.
lot of big stuff coming from Cactus Jack, for sure.
Okay. Well, you know the people are waiting for it. We are waiting for it. So we're gonna stay locked on that. Mike, that was actually all I had for you. Was there anything else you wanted to add? Anything else you want to tell the people? Or
I mean, just thanks everybody for supporting my dreams of, you know, synth godism.
Sure.
You know, like, and just keep, you know, keep on the lookout for all the new stuff that I'm producing that's coming out. You know, everything we just talked about, basically.
Okay. For sure. Well, we know how those movements and those waves go. So you will be in the trending topic section sooner than later. Everybody will keep their eyes out and peeled for sure. Definitely some exciting music to look forward to.